So there's about 40 seconds to go-ish in this game. I stopped watching with about 4 minutes to go, I'm not going to lie. This was a massacre. That's the only word I can use to describe this. It was a massacre. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. The UConn Huskies destroyed South Carolina. South Carolina's unbeaten streak for nearly 2 years, well, for a year and a half, ended at UCLA. South Carolina's unbeaten SEC streak ended, 10 days ago? Maybe a bit longer. And now their unbeaten home streak for 70 games has ended in awful fashion. Like, from minute one, this game was... It felt like this game was just over. Like, if we're looking at the play-by-play, to start the game off, like, you were looking at them up 7 at the end of the first quarter. The second, they just blitzed, and they were 20-something at halftime. And, like, I did think, though, when they brought it back to 31-21, and they went on that run. So they went down 31-14, and they immediately went on a 7-0 run. I'm like, okay, there's going to be a game. Aaliyah Boston's there, hyped. Full Wiley. Did Full Wiley make the layup on that? Yeah, Full Wiley made a really nice layup. But it just wasn't. It just wasn't to be. And I will say this, like, I don't know if there's a WNBA player on this South Carolina team. And as good as they've been, outside of me, like, Pow Pow's a role player. Like, Joyce Edwards is brilliant. Sorry. I don't know if there's a senior that's a WNBA player on this team. I think Full Wiley still has that potential. I think Joyce Edwards is exceptional. But what I mean is, like, I don't know if Sanaya Fagan's a W player. I don't know if Bree Hall's a WNBA player. I don't know if Raven Johnson is not a WNBA player. I'm sorry. Like, whatever about her defense, she literally, like, you can get away in basketball if you're an elite offensive player and can't play defense. If you cannot play offense, you're not going anywhere in basketball. And that's just a fact, no matter what level it is. If you cannot play offense based on the level, like, she's not a good offensive player in college. Like, I've never seen first round shouts being given for somebody who cannot play offense. Like, people, genuinely, I've heard she's a better facilitator than Caitlin Clark from like delusional South Carolina fans. And she's not even a better facilitator than Sarah Strong, the center of the other team. Like, that's just a fact. Tahina Pow Pow is fine. But, like, I've heard people saying her going as high as 3. Like, Dawn Staley has put together a really good team. Dawn Staley's a superb coach. I don't know if, as individual players, Full Wiley has that potential. And Joyce Edwards, let's take away Joyce Edwards out of this conversation. I don't think of that starting 5 that any of them are going to be decent. Like, Bree Hall, maybe. Maybe Bree Hall. Tahina Pow Pow will be decent. But, like, we're looking at players that Bree Hall, Sanaya Fagan, Raven Johnson, and Pow Pow all have first round shouts this year. I'm like, it's just not it. Although for UConn, yeah, Sarah Strong, like, AZ Fudd, that is the game that has pushed AZ Fudd into the first round. Like, a lot of people have been wondering what the story is with AZ Fudd. She shot really badly to start this year, but in fairness to her slashing and her defense were both pretty good this year. And today, in front of, like, I don't think she only played a couple of minutes against USC. In front of the biggest crowd they played, they went to South Carolina, and she had 28 points. She had 28 points on 22 shots, shooting 50% from the field, 6 of 10 for 3. Like, they are impressive numbers. They're really impressive numbers. Like, even El Alfie wasn't that bad today. Sarah Strong, in my opinion, is the best player on this UConn team. And I understand, yes, like, the best player today was Fudd. Sometimes it's Paige. Sarah Strong is so good at basketball. She's so good at basketball. Like, and then likes of Shade, shooting off the bench, had good games today. Chen had a good game for the first time in any of their big games. And this is the first time UConn have really stepped up and played. Again, they won by 30. So I'm not going to criticize Paige Bueckers. And in fairness to her, she stepped in, hit a big 3 to start the game. Like, that 3 settled everything down the first possession of the game. So, not going to really fault Paige Bueckers. But I do also have to make a point that, like, she wasn't very good today. Like, there's no, if anything, like, if people went to scout, they would have thought, oh, maybe if you're the Valkyries or something, okay, maybe we look at Easy Foot at 5. Because Kiki Iriafen, if you take Kiki Iriafen top 5 based on this year, I don't get it. She doesn't play defense. She doesn't shoot. She's a decent finisher. She's athletic. Cameron Brink made her look so much better than she is. And like, as well as that, it was a hugely improved sophomore to junior season. So when it comes to this game, you're like, okay, do you take AZ Foot at 5? And I think AZ Foot has cemented herself in the first round with this game, because she's now starting to come back into it and not looking like what she was expected to, but like still looking a bit more like herself, like 50% from the field. She's up shooting near 40% from 3, isn't she? She's actually shooting 47% from 3. For someone who started off shooting really poorly, AZ Foot's really starting to step it up. And like, she's not going to go back to college if she's going to be a first round pick, especially if Paige goes to the W. But maybe if you were Dallas, like a lot of people are like, oh, Dallas can be there to look at Paige. No, I think Dallas were there to look at, because I think did they not have the 12th pick in the draft? I think they might have a pick in the draft, like a late first. But I think they were more so than anything looking at Sanaya Fagan, Bree Hall, Raven Johnson, Pow Pow, and it may be AZ Foot to take her with a late pick, but no, AZ Foot's, there's no way AZ Foot goes past LA at 9. That's just not happening. That is not happening. Like, she's either going, I think she's either going to go 5. Like, she could, like, as of right now, I actually think AZ Foot 3 to Chicago makes as much sense as Sonia Citron to Chicago, because as much as people think Sonia Citron's a good shooter, AZ Foot's a much better shooter. Sonia Citron's a better defender. She's taller, but I think AZ Foot at 3, if Chicago were keeping that pick, AZ Foot at 3, I think right now would be the most obvious option. But look, she had 10 assists. She passed the ball well. 3 of 12 in the field isn't great for Paige. They won. Defensively, they were really good. UConn, defensively or offensively, South Carolina looked terrible, and UConn just picked them apart. They absolutely picked them apart. UConn's ball movement. The UConn system is very reliant. Again, it's very reliant on ball movement, team play. There's very little like individual dominance that'll win you a game, which can allow you to win games by 30. The problem is those type of systems in close games down the stretch, a lot of the time teams tend to struggle, which UConn have. But still, this was a statement. Like, UConn are probably going to go up to number 3 in the nation, with South Carolina probably dropping out. Do they drop out of top 5? Like, I reckon we see Juju's USC team maybe getting to 2. Then where Texas will be at 2. Maybe UConn USC. I don't know what they're going to do for the top 4, but I think we're going to see South Carolina dropping out of the top 5. But anyway, yeah, that is the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.